Okay, let's unpack this. It's really quite remarkable how often the things that chip away at our mental well-being aren't these huge, dramatic events.
Mm-hmm.
It's more often those small, almost invisible habits, the ones we kind of fall into every day.
Right.
We're talking about hidden patterns that might be quietly shaping how you feel, and maybe you don't even realize the full impact.
And what's really striking, I think, is just how stealthy they are. They don't make a big noise, do they?
No?
They just sort of accumulate over time, quietly chipping away at your mental peace. It's fascinating because, well, you could be doing some of these things daily and be completely unaware of that slow shift inside.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's exactly why we're doing this deep dive today.
Mm.
We're looking into what our source material calls the 7 sneaky habits that hurt your mind.
Mm-hmm.
So our mission, really, is to shine a light on these patterns, help you become more aware of them. And then maybe explore some gentle ways, effective ways to break free. It's all about helping you reclaim that sense of mental peace, presence even.
That sense of presence, yeah.
So let's jump into the first one the source calls out as a quiet destroyer. Bottling up emotions. Those times when you keep telling yourself, I'm fine, even when there's like a storm brewing inside.
Right, and what the source explains, which I think is key, is that these emotions, they don't just poof, disappear.
No.
Instead, they become like this internal pressure cooker. And it's not just a metaphor, like a weight.
Okay.
It often leads to real physiological things,
Yeah.
More muscle tension, headaches maybe, irritability, or just this low-level anxiety you can't quite put your finger on. It's your body physically reacting to that stress you haven't let out. So just acknowledging what's true for you, maybe writing it down, or even just saying out loud, you know what, I'm struggling today, that can actually change the internal response. It releases the pressure.
That shift from just a metaphorical weight to a literal internal pressure cooker, that's crucial.
It really is.
And speaking of things that aren't maybe entirely real, let's talk about the second sneaky habit.
Comparing yourself online.
Oh, the endless scroll.
Exactly. We've all done it, haven't we? Seeing everyone else's perfectly curated highlights and feeling like, wow, they've got it all figured out, while our lives are just, well, normal lives.
And this is such a massive drain on your mental energy. That constant comparison, it actually starts to rewire your brain's reward system.
How so?
Well, instead of focusing on your own journey, your own genuine steps forward, you're constantly looking outside for validation and usually finding you come up short.
Right.
The source is really clear on this. Social media is the highlight reel. It's not the whole movie.
Good way to put it.
You're seeing the finished, published book when you're maybe still working on your own rough draft,
Yeah.
And the advice it gives is pretty direct.
Yeah.
Curate your feed ruthlessly.
Ruthlessly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Unfollow accounts that consistently make you feel less than. It's not about being rude or antisocial. It's about actively managing the info that shapes how you see yourself.
Curating your feed for mental health. I really like that reframe. That whole idea of protecting your peace. It's so fundamental, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And it brings us right to the next point, which is often a kind of silent attack on that peace. The pressure to say yes to everything.
Oh, definitely.
There's this sort of unspoken expectation sometimes to be constantly available, go to every single thing, answer every message right away, meet every need someone seems to have.
And this brings up a really important question the source dives into. When you're saying yes to everyone else, what are you, by default, saying no to?
Good question.
Often it means you're saying no to your own mental bandwidth, your energy, and ultimately your own well-being.
So boundaries aren't selfish then?
Exactly. The source really underlines that boundaries aren't rejection. They're actually an act of radical self-respect.
Radical self-respect. I like that.
It's about honoring your own capacity, right? Preventing that decision fatigue, protecting the mental space you need to actually function well. Learning to say no, or even just not right now, becomes this really powerful act of self-preservation.
And when we talk about honoring capacity, that leads nicely into habit number 4. Skipping rest because you feel you should be productive.
The productivity trap.
Totally. So many of us fall into this, right? Convinced we always need to be hustling, often tying our self-worth directly to our output.
Yeah, and what's really insightful here is the distinction the source makes. Mental rest isn't just, stopping activity.
Okay.
It's a specific active state for your brain. It's when your brain kicks into what scientists call the default mode network.
Default mode network.
And that's crucial for things like consolidating memories, self-reflection, even creative problem solving. So this isn't wasted time. It's essential neurological maintenance.
Like defragging your hard drive, sort of.
Kind of, yeah. The source really emphasizes that true mental burnout happens when we glorify that constant hustle and ignore this really basic biological need. It even draws this powerful parallel, how ancient wisdom traditions universally understood the need for pause, like the idea of resting on the seventh day. It points to a deep understanding of renewal.
That's a really profound way to frame rest, not as inaction, but as a productive brain state.
Exactly.
And speaking of minds working overtime, our fifth sneaky habit.
Yeah.
Overthinking every little thing.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Playing out those worst-case scenarios again and again, replaying conversations from days ago.
Yeah.
It can be absolutely exhausting and feel impossible to stop sometimes.
Well, overthinking is often your brain trying to help in a weird way. It's trying to feel safe, right? To prepare for every possible outcome.
But it backfires.
It totally backfires, usually, because what it actually does, ironically, is create a ton of stress and anxiety that only exists in your head. It's not based in reality.
So what can you do?
The source offers this really practical cognitive circuit breaker.
Okay, I need one of those.
Yeah, it's simple. Just ask yourself, what's something true I can focus on right now?
Something true.
Right.
Right now.
Right. It's not just distracting yourself. It's deliberately pulling your prefrontal cortex back from those hypothetical worries to the present verifiable reality.
That's a powerful redirect.
Yeah.
But for someone really stuck in that spiral, does the source offer anything more immediate? Beyond just a mental shift?
It does, actually. Beyond just the mental question, it suggests really small physical actions, things to disrupt the pattern.
Like what?
It could be as simple as standing up, walking to a window, and just noticing 5 things you physically see.
Okay.
Or taking 3 really deep breaths, or even just touching something nearby, a desk, a fabric, and focusing completely on its texture. These little things ground you back in your senses and help break that mental loop.
That's super helpful. Grounding techniques.
Oh.
Okay, moving to habit number 6. Isolating yourself. We all need alone time sometimes, right? That healthy solitude to recharge. But there's a fine line, isn't there? A blurry line between that healthy space and damaging isolation.
Yeah, and connecting this back to the bigger picture, while solitude is definitely necessary sometimes for renewal,
Sure.
when it slides into real isolation, mental health really suffers profoundly. Our brains are just wired for connection. Humans, we fundamentally heal and thrive and regulate our emotions through interacting with others.
So connection isn't optional, really.
It's not for thriving, no. The source is super clear on this. You are not a burden. Your presence matters.
That's important to hear.
It really is. And it encourages tiny steps. Small, almost unnoticeable things like just sending a quick text message or a voice note, or just reaching out to a friend for even a micro connection. These little actions can start to reactivate those social pathways in the brain that fight the negative effects of being isolated.
You are not a burden. That's such a vital message. Okay, finally, our 7th sneaky habit. This one might not be on everyone's radar when they think about mental well-being. Ignoring your spiritual health.
Right. And this raises a really critical question about how we define ourselves, how we nourish ourselves kind of holistically.
Okay.
The source suggests that you're not just a body and a brain. You also have this core spiritual dimension. Now, that might look like a connection to a higher power for some, or a sense of purpose, or maybe just deeply engaging with your values and finding meaning.
So it's broader than just religion.
Absolutely. But disconnecting from that part of your life, whether it means skipping prayer if that's your practice, or not engaging with texts that inspire you, or even just neglecting quiet, purposeful reflection that leaves a specific kind of emptiness.
The void.
Exactly. A void that, as the source puts it, no amount of external success or, standard self-help stuff can really fill on its own. It really encourages making intentional time just to be still, to create space for that deeper introspection and connection, whatever that looks like for you.
So what does all of this mean for you listening right now?
I think the big theme that comes through from our sources is that mental health, even when it feels really fragile, maybe elusive sometimes, it's absolutely restorable. And the first step, maybe the most crucial one on that journey back, is simply becoming really aware of what might be subtly causing harm. just noticing.
Yeah. And what's truly empowering about that awareness is that it gives you leverage. It gives you the power to make different choices.
Right.
It reinforces that breaking free from these habits, these often deeply ingrained patterns, it doesn't have to be some harsh, massive overhaul overnight.
It doesn't have to be dramatic.
No, it can be a gentle, consistent process, just small redirections, and ultimately protecting your peace, that inner calm, that resilience that's just paramount for living a full life, isn't it? Absolutely. So if awareness is that first step and protecting your peace is the goal, here's something to maybe think about. What small, crew thing can you focus on right now, maybe even just for the next minute, to create that stillness and space for yourself, even just amidst all the noise?